Welcome everyone, Maté talk time. I just asked Hannah to wish me luck. So that's gonna make all the difference. I'm aligned. Boom, here I am. Welcome to Maté talk. Good to see you all. Well, actually, good to be before you all. Hoping everyone is well, having an awesome week. And here we begin. Now, I released a Amber video on the weekend. This is the one that my director, this guy, said that I couldn't release, and I'm glad, because in the end the finished looks the way it needs to, and anyway, the production is done really well. And let me just move this slide a bit more this way, yes, and shift over, sorry, the director's telling me. No, it's not director, it's me, all right? So I'm not a crazy, I promise. I'm actually very sane. It's just that, you know, my head, my brain wants it to look beautiful for you guys, and then for me also, because then when I look at it, if it's not looking right, then I get really stressed out. So one of the fragrances in this video that really popped, that I'm not aware of, and I just wanted to put it on everyone's radar. Everybody was talking about this. When I say everybody, there was probably about 5 or 6 individuals who referenced this particular fragrance, and the fragrance is, you know, looking at this, yeah, all good, I think, yep, is called AMBREA. AUREA, AMBREA AUREA, and it is a profumo Roma fragrance. Now, I love profumo Roma. I love going into their boutique in Rome. They've got a few around the places. The one that's near the Piazza del Popolo, I don't know why, there's something, my soul lives in that place. I walk in, I feel happiness and joy. Have a look at this video, this photo, this is me buying acqua di sale. So I love this particular place, but how rude of me that I've never really explored AMBREA AUREA. So I will correct this, I promise. I need to go back into the store and make sure that I check that out. I'm just going to slow down a tad. I'm going to have a little drink. Excuse me, everybody. Good chance to enjoy your drink too. Yes, it is good to be before everyone. I'm drinking a mate that is super bitter. Here it is here. This one here, and I'll tell you why. At the very end, we'll talk about treatings till Christmas, and it will complement the treatings that I've got planned for the end of the video. Now, I don't know if those people who sometimes fast, I know that some people do it for dietary reasons, etc. So sometimes I fast, and actually a lot of times I fast, and when I'm fasting, I try to think to myself, don't think about food. Just relax, don't worry about it. Enjoy the process of fasting. But the brain is naturally going, yeah, so when I finish fasting, I'm gonna make sure that I have myself a little mate, and I'm gonna have and I'm like, stop thinking about food. No, I'm gonna stop. But with that mate, I'm gonna have the cream cheese, and maybe I'll put a little bit of berries on top of that cream cheese, or maybe I should get the thing that Sandra made, you know. So, have a look at this. This is to lead them to the story. I don't wanna look at the number. All right, so I've seen the channel really take up some growth. Both the video on the FAQ about synthetic versus natural oils, and then the amber one that's just popped out. It has really generated this beautiful, like, oof. And as a result, the growth has been happening there. So I'm trying not to look at the number, but I can't help to go, are we at 50,000? Are we at 50? So I'm nudging 50,000, which is pretty exciting, considering that I was hoping that the mission was at the end of this year to be at that number, but I'm fasting, so I'm not gonna look at it. It happens when it happens, boom. But it's gonna be. I'm getting close. I'm a whisper away, or a whisker away. Now next week is going to be diabolical for me, meaning that we are on set for a whole week. We're shooting for a client, and I think it's 7 o'clock call, so we got to be there before 7 to make sure that we're ready to go. And so it's going to be crazy. I'm going to try my best to do a mate talk. All right, so but if I do the mate talk, it will be something that will be somewhat quick. All right, so I've got something in mind that I want to incorporate with my crew, but know that it's not going to be very elaborate, all right? So as a result, one thing that I will do next week is the raffle, okay? I was meant to do it today, but I'm going to extend it to next week. And the reason for that is I want to give everybody else a chance to jump on in. So here's how you do it. Becoming a member of the channel means that you get a chance to let me send you something. It costs $4 a month. You can turn it on and turn it off as you wish. But if you jump in on this month, let me send you something, then there are two prizes to be won. One is, and this is the one that anybody who wins first, so we'll do the first person that wins can get a choice between this and this. Both are amouage, both are the real samples. This baby here are the, what are they called actually? It's not extra, no, I think they are, the extract version. So the 43 and 45, and so this is like, this thing alone is worth like $150, $180. So you want this. Heads up, you want this one. It's gorgeous. But you don't have to. You could, if you're first to win, you can choose this. And this is the Love Collection. It has some beautiful fragrances that are a lot more floral accented. All right? There's the tuberose in here. Forget about it. So next week, I will raffle that. That'll be part of the Maté talk. And if any, maybe that's the only thing I do. No, I've got something else planned. So, but jump on in. All those who are members will be part of that raffle. 2 people will win next week. Let me move on. Talking about, actually, I was talking about Christmas. I didn't even say Christmas. Let me say Christmas. So this will be an awesome gift for Christmas. So if you were to win this in the lead up to Christmas, this would be an awesome gift. Talking about Christmas. Beautiful segue. Give me a small drink. Give me a second. Can you tell I'm a little bit hypo? Can I just say I have perfume all over me? I just finished filming a beautiful lineup that's coming out this weekend on vanillas. Vanillas, baby. This is, I mean, I smell heavenly. I just smell heavenly. I'm covered in beautiful vanilla fragrances. Actually, I've got one here which I'm about to talk to you about. Bada bing. So the most amazing man, which is George Zaharoff, sent through this as a Christmas gift. George, if you're watching, I'm hoping you are, I want to thank you. For those who are new to this particular fragrance, I'm going to see if I can pronounce it correctly. It is Latin for gold, and it's Aurum. Aurum. I purposely haven't looked at anything relating to this fragrance, meaning that and this is in style with who I am. I don't try to look at notes on the early beginning. I always just go with what's the fragrance saying, what does it smell like. Sometimes I'm like, it smells like it's got candied sugar in it, and there's no candied sugar. But that's the way I like to experience a fragrance. First, I want to just see what it does. What's this fragrance doing? Anyway, I want to thank George. George sent this through as a gift in the lead up to Christmas. Thank you, George. It's very gracious of you. And I think you might know that I love all things bee. Have a look at this.
That's the cherry tree.
Actually, before I show the video. So I love all things bee because, one, I've always been in love with bees and honey. I mean, I love honey as a nectar. But bees, and I'm gonna get preachy on you, bees are vital to our humanity and to our food and everything. Bees are necessary. They're a necessary, they need to be part of the I'm going to stop, but they're necessary. I have a cherry tree. Actually, a lot of the trees that I have in my home are all one in support of the bees because it's healthy for them, and also support of me because they pollinate everything and everything pops. My cherry tree is on fire. Every year it gives me so many cherries. I have to cover it because the birds are excited, as excited about my cherries as I am. My raspberry bush that I have there, it just pops, and I love when I'm picking the raspberries to hear the bees in amongst all that. This is glorious. All right, now look at this video.
That's the cherry tree. The raspberries. My beautiful fig from Calabria.
How gorgeous are these girls? Look at these. Now, when I say girls, because I don't know if you know this, I'm going to give you some bee facts. Every bee that you see is actually a girl. It's a female. The boys are back in the hive. It sounds crass, but waiting to get laid. So the only role of the drones, that they call drones, the only role of the drones is in case the queen were to die, something would happen to the queen, and they quickly need to create a new queen. Boom, the boys are like, yo, I'm here, guys, I'm here. But other than that, the boys don't do anything. They literally, actually, and I'll go one more, over winter, where there's obviously less food around, the bees kill the boys. They kill these drones because they're just taking up room, and they need to conserve food and they need to conserve energy. And so they're like, you know, there's too many of you boys around, so pop, 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 they all get stung. And you can see them taking these boys and throwing them out of the hive. It's actually wild to watch. So every bee you see out there is a beautiful girl, and these girls make the most amazing honey. There in the area that I am, there's a lot of beautiful trees, and so the honey that comes out of this hive is just glorious. If you want to see more about that hive, I actually opened it alongside my good friend Kevin. The girls didn't like Kevin as much, and watch that video to see what happened to poor Kevin. But yeah, so if you want to see how that hive works. Now, I've mentioned before, honey, or the hive, actually has 3 nuances. The hive actually has its own scent profile. It's a mixture of animal, the bee, and the actual honey itself. Then there is the smell of the actual honey. It's rich and golden, and there's a nectar component to it. And then there's the smell of the wax, and that actually has its own scent profile too. All right, Aurum. I sprayed it before, I sprayed it earlier. I sprayed it when I received it. I mean, firstly, the bottle itself and this bougie, beautiful plaque on the front gives you the full impression. This is a celebration of all things honey, but also bee. I mean, the bee is quite prevalent on the actual label. I sprayed it up here. And this is, okay, so this is beeswax, but with a slight animalic twist to it. So this is the most honey enveloping fragrance that I've experienced. I'm going to talk about some honey fragrances before in just a second, and that I have here. But this is the most honey scented, and if I open up my beehive, it has semblance to this. Not as animalic, so when it comes to the actual hive itself, there is a very animal smell to the hive, mixed in with the sweet, the nectar of the honey, the wax and all that. But here, actually, when it opens, it has a booziness to it. Actually, my editor, Hannah, I mentioned before, we were both testing out the fragrance, and her first impression was she felt like it had like a boozy rum component to it or something to that effect. Honey, wax with a slight animalic. Gorgeous. I'm gonna experience this more. I'm gonna experience this more, do a full review on it, give it a complete breakdown. I do love all things Zaharoff. Whenever someone is asking me if they're new to niche, I always recommend them to the Zaharoff fragrances. One, I think you get a lot of value for money when it comes to the volume of fragrance, the longevity of the fragrance, the complexity of it, and then the price. I think all of those elements is fantastic for someone who's new into niche and wants to explore unique, what makes niche unique. But first, before I go into my honey fragrances, small drink, and then I'm going to tell you a story. I'm going to settle in a bit more. So, I want to thank George. And I've been wanting to tell this story for a very long time, because this story, there's a huge impact, significant impact, but I just didn't know when to, I didn't want to sort of tell it out of rhythm, I guess, because then it's like, why are you telling us this story? But the fact that George sent me this gift, and obviously thinking about Mr. Zaharoff, so when I first started the channel, for me, it was a major coup that I was able to film alongside George. So I think I just tipped over the 1,000 subscriber. George was coming to Australia to visit Oillataguerre with Kevin. Kevin connected us, and I had a chance to meet him over Zoom, and we were having lengthy conversations, and I said to him, I'd love to film with you. So we were sort of breaking down what could we do when he arrives here in Australia. Now, at that stage, as I mentioned, the reality is I'm still a nothing compared to the big dogs. But then I was a pimple on the butt of a flea. The reason why I say that is because my poor son once had that said to him. But I was nothing. I was literally nothing. Yet George was gracious enough to give me of his time and also of his star power. To have George Zaharoff on the channel, I'm like, for me, that was a coup. So we did filming together, and we have a look at this video. This was the very first time I did a jump shot. And actually, not only that, this was the very first fragrance adventure. It was a concept that I was trying to develop. I'm thinking, wouldn't it be cool if I did this, did that? And George was willing to play along. He was an awesome sport. Anyway, that video came out, and man, I was so like this emoji. This was me. I just felt like Mr. Cool Guy, 1,000 subscribers, but boom, look at me. I'm already like, you know, I'm mixing with the big dogs. And I just felt like super cool. I thought the video was great. There was great energy between George and I. And throughout that, just so you know, George did write into that episode, and he said, you know, thank you for your time. It was awesome to connect, yada, yada. Even on the day itself, there was a positive chemistry between us. You know, I mean, we're not best of friends because we just basically met in person. As I said, we had been in contact with each other via Zoom. Anyway, I got a phone call from a very, very close friend of mine shortly after that video popped. And as I saw I'm like, oh, you know, this person's coming to congratulate me. I'm like, oh, look what I did. Anyway, we started chit chat. Hey, how you doing? Blah, blah, blah. And all of a sudden, I was just waiting for, like, I loved the video. I was waiting for that line, you know, you're just anticipating for it. Anyway, I said, did you see my video? And the person said, actually, yeah, this is why I'm calling you. And I'm like, okay, here we go. But the thing was, the voice was a little bit on the downside. I'm like, okay. But still, I was like, it was such a cool video. And this friend of mine proceeded to tell me how embarrassed they felt in watching this video. True story. And it crushed me. Oh my gosh, it took the wind out of my sail. To the point, it was almost like a double take. I'm like, whoa, stop. Are you kidding? Is this a joke? I mean, did you watch the same video, you know? And he's like, oh, this person is like, yeah, no, I saw it, and the person said, I had to watch it over stages. I had to stop watching because I felt so embarrassed for you. Oh my gosh, I'm like, what? And I said, well, George was happy. I mean, did you see the comment? And he wrote a comment. He said, no. And he goes, George felt obliged. He felt sorry for you. That's why he wrote that. And I'm like, but, you know, so in defense of my friend, I know that this person was coming with a pure heart. I know it. I absolutely know it, because this person, yeah, it was coming with a pure heart. It was just was looking out for me. Seeing me starting this new venture when it comes to all things, you know, socially, how do you call it, influencing and blah, blah, and I think I know what was happening here in that sometimes, as I'm not going to say anyway, so it took the wind out of my sail. It just devastated me. However, the very first Maté talk was filmed shortly after this conversation, would you believe? I promise. I was in the car, I was coming back from a meeting, I was having this phone call, and I knew that I had to film Maté talk. Number one, so have a look at this. Look at my face, actually. I look a little bit like, Maté talk. Because there was two parts to this. One was, this is my very first Maté talk, so will this concept work? And two, I just received this news, you know, thinking that I was doing a good thing, but no, I was delusional. That's it. I was delusional that, you know, anyway. So I filmed the Maté talk. I'm like, no, power ahead. Let's just got to get this done, because I said that I was going to do it. So here it is. And anyway, that evening I got home. It was 7 o'clock at night, and I was having dinner. And as soon as I walked in, Sandra's like, what's wrong? I can see something's up. What's up? So I started to share with her, you know, what had happened. This friend of mine calling in, telling me this stuff and blah, blah, blah. And have a look at this text. Look at the timestamp on it. George says, I was talking about him, because one of the questions that I asked, and I said to Sandra, I'm like, I cannot believe I was so blind, so ignorant to the fact that George was so embarrassed by me, my performance throughout this whole video, that I can't believe that this occurred. And then I get this text going, are you okay? I'm like, what? It was almost like a Twilight, like, doo-doo-doo, like, who's watching me here, you know? Like, and so I wrote back, I'm like, yeah, all good. Well, actually, here it is. Actually, this is my response. And he, you know, proceeds to tell me that he saw Maté talk, Yeah, we then go into a conversation. Actually, I'm not going to share all the conversation, but this is as much as I'll share. And I said to him, he said, can we talk? And I'm like, let's talk right now. And so I had an opportunity in that moment to ask him, was I being a buffoon? And if I was, I'm so sorry. Was I out of place in my behavior? Was I trying to be a big dog and trying to be outstage you? Basically, this is what my friend was saying, that I was trying to outstage George. And don't you know who George is? George, he shared some things with me, which I won't share, which were very personal. And again, I was or am that pimple on the flea of the butt of that flea. And yet here he was so gracious enough to actually ring me. Now, he said, and again, George, if you're watching, I'd love you to comment and say, all this is true, or maybe he's forgotten. Anyway, it's in the WhatsApp thread, so you can see that I'm not making up stuff. And he said to me that he woke up 2 in the morning and he thought, I got to call Marcelo. Something's wrong. I got to call Marcelo. Nuts. I mean, for me, that is, if we're not all connected via the universe in some weird, bizarre way through our energies or whatever it may be, I don't know how else to explain that. That was just wild. So, Monsieur George Zaharoff, I want to say thank you. Thank you for the Christmas gift. Forget about it. I mean, I'm going to enjoy this. And thank you for being awesome. I appreciate it, and I really do. So, what I want to do now is talk about honey, sort of honey-inspired fragrances. I do love honey in my fragrances. As I just said, I don't have anything so honey-leading as this. So honey-leading as this with its animalic beeswax and honey component to it, glorious. But again, I'm going to share more on that. So I thought today, let me share 4 fragrances that I really love because of that honey component in there. Now, my time is good. I'm going to try to bring this in under 28 minutes. Good luck, Marcelo. Here we go. Oh, the first one is, let's stay with Zaharoff, is TABAC. I love this fragrance. Look here, I did a full review on it. When it first came out, I'm just super happy with this fragrance in the sense that it would actually bring happiness to me. I detect a very clear honey note. I even said this to George. I mean, for me, yes, there are those, I guess, some spices in the opening and that beautiful blonde tobacco in the base. But it's that honey note, the sweetness that's in there, that is just divine. Funny though, this compared to this, forget about it. I mean, this is like honey. What are you talking about, honey? But there is a honey note in here. I do love the accent that it gives. As a tobacco fragrance, it's glorious. It does have a spicy element to it. It's slightly different. A lot of people, for those who may have Naxos, it's a different fragrance, a whole different fragrance. You can own tobacco, you can own Naxos, and know that you've got 2 separate fragrances here. All right, my monitor's giving me something, so I'm gonna keep moving. The next one, which is a very sweet honey. So the sweetness level on this isn't very pronounced, but the sweetness levels here are on point. Now, the difference with the avant-garde that is Alessandro Galtieri, gorgeous by the way, gorgeous, is that it has this beautiful sweet entry to the fragrance. It's a whiskey, but it's honey-like. There is a rose that's whispering through in the background there. This is gorgeous. I've mentioned before, as a fragrance, if you're brand new to NASOMATTO, you don't know where to begin, start here. Start with BARAONDA. This is a glorious, easy wear, just easy to appreciate fragrance. Sometimes some of the NASOMATTOs can be pretty intense, they're quite complex. Whereas I find that BARAONDA is a great boozy fragrance, but that honey whiskey note at the start lures you in just on first spray. Now, I'm not spraying anything because I am covered in perfume, so hence why I'm smelling on the strips. BARAONDA, honey-like fragrance, is glorious. One that's a recent find, when I was in the US with my consigliere, Fred, we came across the Harmonist. This is Golden Woods. You know what was bizarre? When Fred sprayed this, I detected the beeswax instantly, to the point that the sales staff that was there, because I'm like, whoa, I smell honey. I'm smelling a honey here. And she's like, oh, I'm not so sure. Anyway, she had to look at the notes. I lie not. Fred is my witness. She looked at it and she goes, oh yeah, there's beeswax in here. So the beeswax component in here is very pronounced on his skin. It's not so much on mine. What I get on mine more is this orange blossom, nectar-like component to it. When it does dry down, it does go into the more woody components, but it doesn't lose the sweetness that's in the actual fragrance. On card, I'm going to be bland. I'm going to be straight. On card, it's a bit boring. On skin, and should I? Hang on. Because this one here, I've enjoyed wearing over winter. I've enjoyed wearing it, I enjoyed wearing over summer when I was in the US. And I've enjoyed wearing it here when it's cooler. On opening, it's just divine. It's like a mandarin note that comes through. It's citrus, but that mandarin note is so pronounced. It's like a peel component to it. As it emerges, as it goes through. See, for me, I don't get well, I'll wait more for the dry down, but I don't get that. I mean, on first spray with Fred, I was already getting that waxy honey component. Divine. Golden Wood. Massive recommendation. Harmonist, I've actually really impressed. They gave me so many samples. We were at Neiman Marcus. I think I've got all the fragrances and I've been using them. Fantastic brand. I really enjoyed it. We don't have it in Australia, but an awesome brand. And that one there, Beeswax, glorious. The last one coming in real close, 2 minutes left. ZAFIRO. I love this fragrance. So this is the very poor cousin in that 1861 lineup. Naxos gets all the love. Everybody loves Naxos. Then Renaissance is the second one in that mix, and then ZAFIRO's in the background going, "What about me, guys?" I love ZAFIRO. If you want so this is a very incense-leading fragrance. It does have some spicy components to it. I forgot. Actually, I'll put them here. Actually, I wrote it down too. Boom, boom, boom. Balsamic, and that's what it is. It has a balsamic component to it. Those early notes that are in the fragrance does give it more than just incense. So in my opinion, it's more than just an incense fragrance. But what I love about this is that if you look at the notes that are listed in the XERJOFF website, they reference it as honey of the gods. And I do believe the honey, the sweetness of that honey, whatever they're using. Now it could be a real honey, or it actually could be an accord of some sort, but the honey component mixed in with this beautiful incense component to it, glorious. Even on card, glorious. You do have to love incense. If you're not an incense person, I don't recommend it. It is very incense leading, or incense forward. Actually, there it was. But this is a winter fragrance. This is just divine. A lot of people overlook this fragrance. Actually, I did a review here, so if you want to know a lot more about this particular fragrance, then ZAFIRO with a glorious honey of the god component into it is fantastic. Bada bing, baby. Small drink, please. Now it's 28 minutes on the clock, but I've got one last thing that I got to do. Just in case this thing stops on me, I'm going to stop it. And you know what? I'm going to keep going. So, last week, I did the treatings for Treatings Till Christmas. And Thanos, gentleman from Greece, sent me, I'll recommend that I try a Greek biscuit. I'm not going to pronounce it. Here it is. And if you see, so last week I took a bite, and I like the fact that I'm actually eating this thing live. So you're getting the raw, very first impressions. There is danger in that, and that was, so last week if you saw, I'm smelling this thing, I'm like, something doesn't smell right here, you know? I'm like, it has an unusual smell. I found out afterwards, so just so you know, I did reach out to Thanos to say, look, if I offended you, I'm so sorry. Every Greek person out there, oh, there it is. I'm back. If you look at the very first Maté talk, I went for about 5 minutes, I think, and I'm like, I don't know what I'm going to talk about. Now, you can't shut the guy up. Shut up already. The camera's going, buddy, we're done. 28 minutes, we're over. 2 more minutes and then we are done, I promise. So, boop, bop, bing, boom, what was I saying? Thanos. So, you could tell I was smelling it, and I'm like, this doesn't smell. It smells unusual. It's got a, I don't know, a weird smell. Found out from later on from Thanos, he said to me that, again, here's the video, they're not fresh. He goes, they're too dark. They need to be lighter, there needs to be more honey component on it, yes please, more honey components on it. So I clearly bought it from the wrong place. So all Greek people who have given me the evil eye, please take it back. I will go and look for another one of these and put it out there. I did notice though, last week, everybody's like, I'm not telling this guy treatings before Christmas because he's gonna turn his nose up. I won't. Actually, I got a message from both my brother and my cousin saying, "What? Just fake it." But I'm like, I can't fake it. It's not nice. Well, yeah. I want to be. Anyway, I want to be honest. This is what I was going to say. All right, so have a look at this video. Boom. This is my great friend, good friend, Max, and he recommended this panettone. Forget it. So I already know. No matter what happens here, it's going to be awesome. So I love panettone, and he recommended this baby. Have you noticed that I haven't opened it? Hold on, I'm going to drop this box. Actually, I'll put it here, and I'll put this here. He recommended this panettone, and he said it was off the hook. So, as a result, hence why I have a very bitter mate, because the balance between the two is going to be divine. I'm going to open this up here. The reason why I haven't opened it up earlier, because I know the moment I smell this, I can already begin to smell it through the packet. So for those who might like panettone, this one here has a combination of chocolate and rum. So it's a boozy panettone. I'm going to throw that on the floor. Look at that. Oh my. Okay. That booziness is very pronounced. Let me just put it out there. This is why I did not cut myself a piece. I would not have been able to concentrate, period. So I'm going to pull this. Oof, my gosh. This. This feels divine. Oh my gosh, this smells amazing. Okay, excuse me, everyone. Here we go. Mama. Okay. Max, awesome recommendation, my brother. So normally I like the last panettone I did was very yeasty. This is a bit more doughy, but the chocolate pieces, that rum in the mouth, the essence is definitely there. Beautiful panettone. If you have a Christmas festive season, something exciting that you guys like to enjoy, please put them in the recommendation. I want to know. I promise that I promise to love everything, okay? I promise to go, no, I will. But I promise to be honest. There you go. I promise to be honest. I want to try different things. Sometimes what happens is that we grow up, I'm like, watch the very first video, or the very first time that Kevin drank mate. Have a look here. I mean, I love the thumbnail alone. Sometimes we grow up with things that we fall in love with, and it just becomes part of our second nature to us. But to somebody who tries it for the first time, they're like, what is this? So that's my disclaimer, okay? But still, put it forward. I want to know. I want to taste these things. So I will go out and look for these different treatings that you guys enjoy, and I want to enjoy them too. So you guys all on the next Mate Talk. Don't forget, become a member and win next week. Bye, gang. How do you like me now?